Hey, Nick here with another installment in the Complete Coach series. This week's topic is a tough one, but really wanted to just have a straight talk video, advice from one coach to another, and it's focused on addressing the tough topic of determining what is your market value as a coach. And market value is a tough conversation. By definition, it's the amount for which something can be sold on a given market. So effectively your coaching rates. So what is a client willing to pay for your services? Unfortunately, for a lot of coaches, their perceived value of their services don't align with their clients' perceived value of their services. And this is pretty easy to see because the vast majority of coaches have struggling businesses. They may only have a couple of clients or teach a couple of classes, and end up having low retention rates. So it's a delicate balance between the client's perceived value in your business and rates that match close to that, and then continuing to build value so that way you can increase your rates to a point that you're comfortable with. And this can be especially tough because coaches need to build their value with clients in different ways at different stages. So, for example, when you are marketing and doing promotion to gain new leads for your business, right? Whether that's through more conventional means like creating content, right? Through a blog or YouTube, or using a social media platform like Instagram. And then transitioning from there to that first time meeting, right? So whether that's meeting a person for the first time, meeting them in a class or in a one-on-one scenario, now how you build your value or your level of importance with that client changes. Your techniques have to change at that point, right? The goal is still the same, but you got to change how you're approaching it. And then once you have a client commit to you, maybe for one additional session, or maybe it's a package for a couple additional sessions, right? Then you have the challenge of continuing to maintain the value that you've already built with this client, but then building upon it, right? If a client isn't seeing the continued value or the continued importance in the services, and it's not growing, they're going to be at a higher likelihood to not value your services and step away, which means the lifetime of your client goes down. And with most clients having goals that are going to take, realistically, going to take weeks to sometimes months to achieve, it's critical for coaches to be able to continue building their value so they can maintain these clients over the long term, not only for their businesses, but so their clients can reach their goals. That said, I run into a lot of coaches that say, hey, Nick, I have a lot of time put in my own education, whether it's certifications or a degree, or I've spent numerous years in the industry, and I feel I've developed a skill set that demands a higher rate, but they still have a struggling business. So you, as a coach, you got to really ask yourself, whose perceived value matters most to you, right? Is it your perceived value of your services and how good they are, or is it the paying client? And the answer should seem pretty clear. The client's perceived value is the most important thing, right? They're the ones at the end of the day, they're going to be paying you and putting food on your table. So you should put a constant focus on listening to your client. Now, if you're noticing there's a little bit of a divide between your perceived value and your services and clients that you're encountering, it's really not your fault. It's not the fitness professional or coach's fault that this pops up at such a high rate with so many coaches. It's kind of ingrained in the industry, from the certification processes to continuing education and the seminars and events that are put on, to even the experts that speak at those conventions, and their blogs and their channels of communication. And then on top of it, the thing that kills me is the business gurus that they've never actually had a successful business, fitness business, but insist on turning yours around with a few quick tricks. And it's really unfortunate, but whether it's the certification bodies or these experts, nobody really talks about the grind from when you're first starting and building your value to get to a point where you are a successful business, right? A lot of people just jump to the successful part because a lot of coaches, especially the experts that are looked to, they already have successful businesses. They're already in high demand, right? A lot of these experts, they already understand the demographics of their region, right? If you're a coach, for example, in LA, you're going to be able to charge a lot more in LA than you can in South Dakota, for example. You're going to have a populace that has a much larger expendable income, and then depending on who you're working with, there may be a larger expendable income. And then on top of it, you're building a high demand there. So a lot of these coaches have worked over years and decades to build up their clientele and their business. It didn't happen overnight. So it was years in the making. So with them being in high demand, essentially falls into that balance of the supply and demand principle, right? They're in high demand, so they have the ability to charge higher rates. Their time is valuable. So at that point, so whether it's working with them or coaches within their own teams, they're able to command a much higher rate at that point. But if you're a new coach or you just moved to an area, or let's say you don't have a very successful business, right? Maybe you only have a couple of clients and teach a class here and there isn't high demand for your business. You're kind of part of the, I guess, the other side of the spectrum, which is the supply side, right? From a client's perspective, to be blunt, you're part of the thousands of other coaches out there. And so you need to, as part of building your value, right, building that relationship with a client, you need to separate yourself from the crowd. And separating yourself from the crowd, I'll save that for another chat, but kind of getting straight to the point though, the vast majority of coaches are looking to increase the number of leads that they have and increase the size of their businesses. And so really, taking actionable next steps, you need to focus on the front end of your business, right? Your outreach, the front end of your pipeline, if you will, how many people you are squeezing into your sales pipeline, how many are getting to that first session, and focusing on how many you're getting there and converting into regular paying clients. So a great first step is listening and learning from your current clients. They can provide invaluable feedback on your services. So I really highlight this in our last video, the first step of increasing your paying clients. You can find that in the Guided Fitness channel here. But the valuable feedback that they can provide can help you determine why they pay to work with you on a consistent basis, and this will help you refine your outreach practices, so that way the value that you're trying to develop with clients on that end is more apparent. And within that same breath, focusing in on optimizing generating leads, right? Really at this point, regardless of your rates, right? Your focus is growing your business, bringing in as many leads as you can, turning them into paying clients. You can increase your rates later on. So, ways of increasing leads, right, through your own promotion and marketing, offering things like free intro sessions are great. Lowering your one-on-one or your listed rates are great. Really the goal being is you need to lower the barrier of entry for clients to work with you, right? Make it as easy as possible for them to go from not seeing you to getting in front of you. Then as you start generating these leads, then you want to start focusing on over-delivering and building value over time. And then you'll notice that as time passes, the number of clients you have will start to increase, the lifetime of these clients will start to increase, your schedule will start to fill up. Then at that point, your demand will start to grow, and you can start looking at steps for whether it's increasing your rate or increasing your per hour income. So in quick summary, actionable tips you can take to start growing your business. The first one being listening to your clients. So obviously what brought them to you, why do they continue working with you, and obviously why they continue paying the rate that they're paying to work with you. But also too, on the other side of that coin is listening to the clients that don't work with you. So all of those leads that decided, after the first session or 2 sessions to leave, right? That's feedback that at some point in time, they didn't see the value in continuing on with you, right? So determining what led to them leaving, right? Is it a pricing issue or is it another factor? That'll help you refine and increase the retention rates on that end. And then number 2 is focusing and dedicating towards increasing your leads. So specifically lowering the barrier of entry to working with you. So whether that's the times that you're available, like I said earlier, the free first intro session is an industry standard and something that can really lower the barrier for a lot of people. And then on top of that, maybe it's lowering your rates, right? Whether that's the per session rates or package rates or whatever that may be, or creative routes you can take there to help reduce the overall cost for clients when they're still learning more about you and you're still in the early stages of building your importance and your level of value with them. Thanks for taking time for watching this video. I'm sure I'll get plenty of questions and comments as well in terms of perspectives on this. I know it's a pretty passionate topic for a lot of coaches, so feel free to post your comments and questions down below, and then stay tuned next week for the next edition in the Complete Coach series.